Welcome back to SEO for Web Developers. In this topic number 4, we're going to talk about keyword research. So keyword research in the SEO world is one of the most important topics or concepts for you to understand as a beginning. There are more advanced strategies that are used by people that specialize in SEO. I think understanding the basics really helps you as you're getting started as a web developer learning SEO. And it's one of the critical things that when I started learning SEO, I didn't fully understand that it really hurt my progress, and it also hurt my SEO efforts that I was trying to implement on my website. So understanding this and doing more research and refining your knowledge when it comes to keyword research is critical. Keywords are essentially the search terms that you enter into a search engine. For the topic of this course, I'm obviously going to focus mostly on Google because it's the most popular search engine, but keywords definitely apply to other search engines as well. It's just Google is the most popular one, so I'm gonna use Google examples in this course mostly. A keyword or a search phrase is what you type into the search engine in order to see or find something on the search engine. So for example, web design is a keyword. Web design, if you enter web design, you get, this is a rich snippet over here. It describes, what web design is about. You're also getting some ads here initially. Don't mind this. This is just some of my performance for this particular keyword, which is very generic and it's very, very big, very broad, I should say. Web design is a two-word keyword, so it's going to be very competitive and it's going to be hard to rank for some of these things like web design. But essentially, what a keyword is a phrase that somebody enters into a search engine in order to find what they're looking for. Doing keyword research is the practice of identifying keywords that are relevant to your website, that you want to rank for, that you want to optimize your website for, and potentially rank for when doing SEO. When we talk about keyword research, we're talking about developing a plan to identify keywords that somebody would be entering into Google in order to find your website. There are a number of different tools that you can use for keyword research. There are free ones and there are paid ones. Obviously, when you're starting out, I recommend using free ones to start to identify some good opportunities, and then moving on to better paid options that are available if you start getting more serious about SEO. But you can do keyword research with free tools. Some of my favorite tools in order to do keyword research, I'll go through briefly in this module. But essentially, learn keyword research. It's probably one of the more important concepts in this course, along with the creating a good website structure, which is what you want to do. You also want to identify the right keywords that you want to target for your main page, for your blog pages, and so forth. When I was getting started with SEO, I didn't have a good understanding of keyword difficulty and some of these terms that we're going to go through, and it really hurt my effort. I thought that by just adding, for example, my main keyword, Calgary web design, to my website all over the place, that it would automatically land me on this first page of Google. You can see that I'm making progress, very slow progress, to get onto this first page, but this is very competitive. You can see here, I actually have a Chrome extension called Keyword Surfer. It's free. You can download it. It gives you some information here based on any keyword you enter into Google. It tells you how much search volume it has and how expensive it would be per click, for example, if you're doing a Google AdWords campaign. This is actually useful. This cost is useful here because it tells you roughly that this particular keyword is because it's expensive, you could tell that it's probably going to be competitive because it's, you know, $12.60 every time somebody clicks. If you had an ad up here, which I do, by the way, it's not showing up now, but any of these ads, I'm not going to click on them, obviously, because it's going to cost these companies money. But if you click on any of these websites, you know, they're paying essentially $12.60 a click, right? So you definitely want to look for that, and keyword research would identify that. So something like Calgary Web Design having a high search volume here that I was trying to rank for or target initially, I didn't know enough to know about difficulty and competitiveness of keywords in order to know that that's probably not attainable for a brand new website. Because people have been, you know, probably trying to rank for that for a while. It's very competitive. It brings in a lot of volume. It's expensive. Therefore, it's probably not something you can rank for easily. Google will give you the first indication. Again, you know, when you're doing this type of research, you want to use some of these tools. Keyword Surfer is great. And it's free, and you can get that and add it to your browser as you're doing research. So when you're first starting a website project for yourself or a client, the first thing you want to do is obviously create that structure that I talked about, and then you want to create or identify the main keywords that you want to target in order to try to rank that website for particular keywords. You would do this for every page. So this is where it becomes very tedious and time consuming, but this is why SEO is a more sought after, you know, skill, because it does take time and effort and energy in order to get this right, and a lot of planning. But it's very useful to create that plan when you're first getting started as to which keywords you want to target. When you're first starting out, there are a few strategies that you can do. There's what's called, so all of these very short keywords are going to be very competitive. So for example, web, you know, has a very high search volume, obviously, but it's probably going to be, you know, for you to rank for web would probably be impossible. Web design, you know, gets a little bit less volume, but it's also very competitive, for example, and it's going to be tough because it's a two-word keyword or phrase. Once you start getting into a little bit more niche, or what's called long tail keywords, excuse me, then you get into something more manageable that you can actually target for your website. So for example, web design in Southwest Calgary is a long tail keyword. So this particular one, you can see it's probably not a good example because it has zero volume in my area. However, something like that would probably be better to target because it's not going to be as competitive, because it's not going to have as high of a search volume to make it worthwhile for, you know, more established companies. And you can start kind of carving out your niche and developing and creating some of those on your website so that you can, you know, tune your pages for that particular keyword, and then so you start ranking on Google and have an easier time ranking for those particular long tail keywords that are easier to accomplish. When I started, remember I said one of the main issues I had, or one of the main challenges I had, or things that I didn't know about, was I was targeting all of these competitive keywords that were of higher search volume, and I wasn't getting anywhere because they're competitive and a lot of people are targeting those already. So I didn't know about keyword research or identifying longer tail keywords that would work for me in my case, and so I, you know, spun around a lot and lost a lot of effort. So what you want to do, again, you want to get familiar with keyword research and plan out which keywords you want to target by, you know, with your pages on your website, and also with the particular blog posts, for example, that are targeted, that maybe can bring in traffic to your website and that are attainable for a new upstart company or project. I mentioned a few terms here: keyword difficulty, competitiveness. Those two are related. Cost per click, that's if you're doing paid ads for a particular keyword, and and there's also search volume. So search volume is, how many searches a month in your particular area there would be for that particular keyword. And then difficulty is how hard or easy would it be to rank for that particular keyword. In order to identify these, there are a few ways. There are some free tools that you can use to get started. If you're just starting out, of course, you can use Google, and you can use this free extension for Chrome in order to identify, again, like I said, the search volume, for example, and you can play around and actually see. Google is probably the best place because Google will tell you which pages are already ranking for that term, and you can take a look at them and you can open them and see which sites are ranking, and you can kind of take a look at what they're doing well, and not copy, obviously, but get some design elements and some ideas in terms of what type of content they have that helps them rank for that keyword, for that particular keyword that you're searching for. So you want to explore some of those and see if what's missing from your website that's preventing you maybe from ranking for that keyword. As I mentioned, there are some great tools that you can use for keyword research. So what you want to do when you're starting off an SEO project is you want to create your structure, then you want to do the keyword research, and you want to tune all of your pages on your website for a particular keyword. I'm going to show you how to do that in one of the future modules, but the first thing you have to do is plan out which keywords you want to target, and you're going to do that by using keyword research tools. You can Google free keyword research tools to find other ones that I'm not going to show today. And I'll also show you a paid one just so you can see the difference between doing research on a paid tool versus a free tool that's going to be limited, and it's not going to have as good of information as the paid tools. So the first one is WordStream. You can go to their wordstream.com/keywords. You can search either by URL to find suggestions. So you can put in a competitor URL, for example, in here, and you can find out which keywords they're using to already rank. So this is useful if you wanted to see if a competitor is already showing up and you're kind of already aware that they're doing well on Google. You can enter in their website. For example, I could do this, and I'll be able to see all the keywords that I'm currently ranking for in order to get keyword ideas for your own website. That's a very popular way of doing things, and actually a lot of SEOs do that. They look for a really good website that's already ranking, and then they'll get keyword ideas based on that particular website that's already ranking, and kind of create their unique pages and content in order to target similar or the same keywords. Another way you can do it is if you already know the keyword. For example, I know that my clients would be looking for Calgary web design. I can enter it in here. I can enter in my location, and I can go find my keywords. What this will do, it's going to kind of scrape their database, and it's going to find not only that keyword and give me more information about that keyword, it will also give me related keywords that I might not have been thinking of that might also be good ideas. So for example, website design Calgary has 1,000 search volume per month. This is their calculation on cost per click. I'm not sure how accurate it is, and it gives you a good indication of how high or low the competition is. So what you would do in this case is you would do some research in terms of figuring out if there's a different variation that gives you a good, a better mix in terms of acceptable search volume, but not very high competition. So a lot of those long tail keywords are going to kind of fit that criteria. You have to find the right one in order to find one that has decent volume, but that has low competition, so that you can target those and create those on your website so that you can actually rank. A lot of strategies in SEO are actually based on this premise of creating content that has a high volume, high search volume if you can find them, and low competition. Those are the gems. People spend hours every week searching for those opportunities, believe it or not. And it's kind of a played out strategy, just because you can imagine there's only so many relevant keywords that you can target for your particular niche, and everybody's kind of doing it that way. But there are opportunities still to be found. And with some other strategies that I'm going to show you, you can still rank for some of those medium and low keywords, even if there are other results on Google that might be already ranking. So they are achievable if you follow the right methodology. But that's basically the trick. When it comes to keyword research, you want to find keywords that are not too competitive, but that have a good volume. This particular tool is saying that all of these are high competition, which I don't believe. For example, Calgary Web Design Prices is not something that is high competition. It's probably a low. I know this because this is my kind of area, so I know all of these keywords, and it still has a decent volume. It doesn't have a crazy volume, meaning, if 1,000 people aren't searching for it every month, 50 people are. However, this is a high intent keyword. What that means is somebody looking for website design Calgary, they might be looking for some inspiration, for example, to find inspiration to make their own Calgary website. Somebody who's searching for Calgary Web Design Prices is probably doing some shopping around and is probably ready to buy. So, even though this one has a lower volume, it still might be a better keyword for you to target in order to incorporate this into your website, because 50 searches is still quite a bit. If you're number one on the search engine results page on Google, you're still going to be getting the majority of these 50 clicks. So you can imagine if you're getting, let's say 75% of these, if you're number one, you're getting quite a few clicks. Even if you're getting 50%, you're getting 25 clicks and 25 visitors to your website. They're searching for this. Even if you close, 5% of those, or half of those, even better, you're still doing well. You're still getting a solid lead or a few leads every month through something like this. So don't worry too much about going after these very high volume keywords, because they're usually going to be higher competition as well. So you can see, for example, a tool like this. This is a free tool. I used a fairly popular search term. If you search for something a little bit more obscure, it's not going to have as good information probably. And I'm already kind of questioning some of the value of this, but it's good. It's a good tool if you're looking for something free to get started, and you just want to do some initial keyword research and get some additional ideas that you might not have thought of. For example, like the one we identified, which is Calgary Web Design Pricing. Maybe you didn't consider that one. Another really good tool that I use, that I used to use actually before I had paid tools, is Ubersuggest. This is also a free, there's a free version and a paid version of it by Neil Patel. He's fairly well known in the SEO industry. Same kind of idea. You select your region. I'm going to select Canada. You can enter in the URL, or you can enter in a keyword. I'm going to do the same thing just so you can see that sometimes there are differences between these tools. So I'm going to enter in Calgary Web Design as the keyword, and it's going to give me some information here based on volume, difficulty, and so forth. So you can see already there's quite the difference, right? This tool is saying that there's 4,400 search volume per month, which is too high. I don't think that's accurate. It'll give you a difficulty score. It'll give you the difficulty score of paid. I don't think it's easy because it's expensive, 23 bucks a click. I don't honestly think it's that high either. So again, you could see there is a discrepancy and a difference between, mind you, website design Calgary is a different keyword from Calgary Web Design. That's true. So maybe that's the difference between the variation. But again, take some of these stats with a grain of salt, especially with these free tools. It's not going to give you as good of information, but it can give you some really good ideas, again, based on difficulty based on volume and things like that. So you could see same thing here. It gives you some additional ideas like web design company in Calgary may be, a better one to go for because, well, probably not actually. Search SEO difficulty says it's actually higher difficulty than website design Calgary. So yeah, it's again, it gives some, it'll give you an indication anyways, some other ideas of what you can do in order to maybe target some other keywords that may not be as competitive, but that might give you adequate search volume, for example. So that's what keyword research is really all about, is getting that seed, what they call a seed keyword, trying to figure out, okay, I'm in a web design business, or entering in a URL for one of my competitors and saying, maybe this is a better keyword for me to target, getting some ideas and figuring out what the best ideas are for you to target on your website. So that's what keyword research is all about at the end of the day. This is also useful here, looking at related keywords again, just to get more ideas and to find maybe some opportunities. For example, this is a great example actually. Calgary Web Design Firm doesn't have as high volume, but it is totally achievable because it has lower difficulty when it comes to how easy it is to be able to rank for that on Google. So there's a lot of useful information here. There's other information like, well, actually it doesn't have it here. I'll show you in the paid tool, but in terms of questions. So what are the common questions people would ask if they're searching for this that you can incorporate into your content? And I'm going to show you that when we start kind of building out a sample content, how you can incorporate those things in order to increase your rankings for that particular keyword that you're targeting. It'll also give you some pages that are currently maybe showing up on Google. I don't know how good these examples are here, but some content ideas so you can get some ideas on how you can improve or how you can actually create content to reach Google for that particular keyword. So it gives you a lot of useful information. This tool is fairly good for a free version, and definitely something I would recommend exploring. There's other things you can learn from these SEO tools that are very useful. Actually, one of the main things that helped me learn SEO is using these free tools, because all of these different concepts I would dig in and try to understand in a little bit more detail about, like, what is SEO difficulty and what does it constitute, and how do I, which ones are achievable for me and which ones aren't. I would really, use the free tools in order to learn more about some of these concepts and learn how to apply them on my website. So that's another, Ubersuggest is another resource. And then, of course, keyword research, keyword planning by Google Ads. So you don't need to have Google Ads, paid ads in order to use this tool. You can sign up for a free Google Ads account, and you can use their keyword planner for free. How you access it is, once you sign up an account, you go to tools and settings, and you go into keyword planner. Once you go in there, you can create a plan for a particular campaign where you can kind of bunch a bunch of keywords together, or do some research and kind of save them. Or you could just do like discover new keywords here, and we're going to enter in exactly the same one that we entered in, or you can enter in a URL, same thing, and get results. So actually you can see that Calgary Web Design 4400. So I recall somewhere that actually Ubersuggest uses this as a data set, so it might actually be more accurate than some of the others. I'm not 100% sure how accurate these monthly searches are either, but again, take it with a grain of salt. But obviously, this is why we're doing this. We're trying to identify keywords that we might want to target for our pages. The nice thing about this, of course, as well, is the keyword planner is it gives you additional ideas. Again, it gives you average monthly searches. It doesn't give you the difficulty here. It gives you the competition, but this is for paid. So This is going to be competition. This isn't keyword difficulty for organic searches. This is keyword difficulty for paid ads. So competition is low for Calgary web design probably because it's an expensive keyword, and you're going to pay anywhere from $8.50 to or $8.40, sorry, to $21.43 per click, right? So you have to have quite a big budget in order to go after something like this and pay for this keyword. Nice thing about this, again, is it'll give you additional ideas on, other keyword ideas that you can target along with their volume and their, difficulty here for paid, of course, and their pricing as well. So you can add these, the keyword planner in Google Ads, of course, is trying to push you towards creating a paid ad campaign in order to pay for that ad and have it show up on the search results on this top section here, which is ads, right? So if you do, I showed that earlier, I'm not gonna show it again, but these are all paid. So this is what you're planning with this keyword planner tool here. For this course, obviously, we're focusing on organic SEO. We're not focusing on paid ads and PPC. So again, I'm not going to spend time on this too much. It's just to illustrate that you can do keyword research in Google Ads as well, using their free keyword planner tool, which is another great tool if you're starting out and if you want to do some free keyword research without having to pay for a tool. Now, as soon as you can afford a tool, buy a tool, because I'll show you in a second here. So this is one of the popular SEO tools called Ahrefs. You can sign up for this tool for free. Actually, I highly recommend it. I'm going to cover that in one of the next modules. You can sign up for free. You can put in your URL, and it'll actually do a technical audit for free of your website that'll inform you what you need to fix in order to improve your SEO. Some of these other features like Keyword Explorer, for example, you're not going to be able to use with the free version. You need a paid version, and you'll see why. It has a lot more information than some of these other options that we saw. So you could create a list, of course, for some of the projects that I'm working on, or you can just start typing in keywords or one keyword and see what happens. This is under Keywords Explorer. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm actually going to switch my region to Canada, and you'll see how much more information I get from a paid tool. And again, everybody has their own proprietary information source in terms of how they generate some of these stats. So again, you have to use these with a grain of salt, because you'll find some discrepancies. And so you want to make sure that, don't focus too much on things like search volume, for example, and difficulty, because they're all very they're going to differ based on different tools that you're using. What you want to do is, the point of this exercise really is for us to identify keywords that are less competitive, but that have a good enough volume that's worthwhile you targeting them. And so you can see it with the paid tool, for example, again, it has the difficulty, has the volume. It tells you who the top ranking result is, tells you some global volumes as well, and what you can expect from other areas of the globe as well. And really useful thing here is you can, if you have a paid plan, you can do this over and over. Some of these free tools they're gonna restrict you. They'll let you do this like 3 times a day, 3 keywords, and then you're done, kind of thing. And with the paid tool, obviously you're going to have way more credits, and you're going to be able to do this over and over. And some other useful things here, for example, it'll tell you some other terms that might be similar to this, but and give you their volumes as well. It'll give you common questions. For this particular one, there aren't any common ones that it picked up, and so forth. It'll also tell you, different competitors and their particular position history and where they were, and you can do some historical analysis, which is, again, cool, but not something you're going to get in free tools. You're also going to get some idea on some paid, who's doing paid for this particular keyword, and those links. And then of course the SERP. So this is the search engine results page, or short acronym is SERP. And this is what shows up on Google if you search for that particular keyword, and it'll give you all of the pages, all the websites that are ranking for this particular keyword on Google. You can click on them and open them up, and you can see which keyword it's picking up, and sometimes there are variations. Web design Calgary is different than Calgary web design, even though they're very close, and it'll tell you, for these particular websites, which of these is it picking up and what the volume is. So it gives you some really good information. Now, the value again of these paid tools is you can also drill into either search suggestions or related terms or matching terms to get additional ideas. So for example, search suggestions is going to open up another screen. It's going to give you a ton of other keywords that might be related, that might have better opportunities for you, that maybe have a lower difficulty. Again, that's a bad example, but again, not, this particular one's probably not, something you're targeting unless you're creating courses. But you would go through some of these examples and say, okay, maybe Calgary web developer, maybe that's better than Calgary web design if somebody's looking for a Calgary web developer, because this one gets 20 searches a month, let's say. However, it only has a difficulty of 7, let's say. So this one's way easier for me to rank for, and this is something maybe I would target as a beginner to say, I'm still good with maybe getting 5 clicks a month for free, through organic, because that can also lead to additional leads. And you can drill in. Not all of these are going to be relevant, obviously, so you have to kind of drill in a little bit more and find ones that will meet your criteria and that'll give you the results that you're looking for. So that's what keyword is all about in a nutshell, is looking for opportunities that you can identify, that'll be good for you to rank for, easier to rank for, that still give you a decent volume that you can incorporate into your website and tune your pages for that particular keyword so that you show up on Google. And in the next few sections, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that so that you can get started. And after you find that perfect keyword, that you can actually apply those best practices so that you can rank for those particular keywords on Google. And just to recap, keyword analysis, some of the key takeaways. Keyword research can really make or break your SEO results. So remember, I said, this is probably one of the more important topics when you're learning SEO, to really understand this and use it to your advantage. I spent a lot of time, wasted effort, not applying these techniques when I was looking to rank my new website. So you definitely want to spend a lot of time to really learn how to utilize this concept well and to your advantage. Learn how to identify the right keywords. Like I said, some don't go after very high volumes all the time. Try to look for intent as well. So what is the user's intention? What are they searching for? We saw some great examples of that. For example, some people might be searching for web design courses, and you're selling websites, for example, for clients, and that's actually not your target market. So you're looking for people that maybe small business owners that are looking for web design services or whatnot. So intent is important, and intent is something that you always want to consider when you're doing keyword research. So learn how to identify the right ones. Use Google. Try to actually search for that keyword that you find through your research, and try to see how other people are using it, and to get an idea of what the intent is of that particular keyword. And again, as you saw, using free tools is fine when you're getting started, but you're just going to get a lot more value out of paid tools. And if you want to do SEO seriously and start offering those services, you want to upgrade to a paid tool as soon as possible. So that's it for topic number 4, keyword research, and we'll see you in a bit.